Hello, I'm Heather Cole with Lodestar Solutions, and today I'm going to talk about the fact that IBM sold the Cognos Finance products, and you as a client may not have even heard about this. So I want to share with you what I believe some of your options are, but I want to make sure who you even know to contact and who acquired Cognos Finance. So before we start out, I want to throw out a little legal disclaimer. This is based on the information currently available at the time of this recording, so it's always subject to change. So if you have some questions, I recommend that you go directly to the new acquirer of Cognos Finance, which is Unicom. On August 31st, the press releases hit the street that Unicom Global acquired Cognos Finance Business Analytics. So the software component that has been around for years, the old Lex 2000, was actually sold off, and Unicom Systems, a division of Unicom Global, acquired it. That press release can be found at the URL on your screen, and that's where you can go learn more about this. But it wasn't very widely publicized. I'm not certain even that IBM contacted their Cognos Finance clients, and I've talked to a number of our clients that use Cognos Finance, and they didn't even know it was sold. So if you're one of those people, listen up. We're going to share with you what your options are. So first off, your option is to get support. Because this is a financial reporting application, you might want to make sure that you're supported. Now, a lot of you are like, well, I never call support for Cognos Finance. It's a sturdy little workhorse, and that is true, but you don't know about your peripheral environment. For example, maybe Microsoft sends you an update and something happens and it crashes your Cognos Finance. So although Cognos Finance is very sturdy, it may be affected by that environment around you, and you might need support. So contact Unicom for support. Another option is to look at alternative IBM product lines. So IBM over the years has acquired other software companies and has made those products even better. So one option is Cognos Controller. This has been around in the Cognos family for quite some time, but IBM has really done some improvements to it. And in the last year, they announced a new version, really. It's the same software, but they branded it Cognos Express Controller. It's really designed for more of the mid-market clients at an affordable price. So they've really decided, hey, we have to address those needs of the mid-market and general business that may not need a ton of users and controllers. So that's Cognos Express Controller. Another option would be, depending on what you're doing with Cognos Finance today, you might want to look at TM1. Some of our clients have actually been able to build in TM1 what they were using Cognos Finance for. So with TM1, it is now called Performance Management, is the technical license name, but we all still call it TM1. And there's also an Express version of Performance Management, again, geared more towards the smaller deployments, and we'll talk about what that means, what those restrictions are in a moment. So let's go to the first bullet point, connecting with Unicom. So I really did some hunting and trying to find out what happens to you as a client. And I found a certain URL on their website. It wasn't honestly very easy to find. The only way I found it was go to the press release, scroll down the press release, and then click on where they rebranded this product to be called the Unicom Finance. So when I scrolled down and I clicked the link to Unicom Finance, it came to a screen that looks somewhat like this, and it says click here for the press release and click here with the existing customer. No matter what I Googled, this was hard to find, and finally when I found it, I clicked the existing customer registration, and this is what I got. So I believe, and I defer to Unicom on this, that you as a client, if you want to get support on Cognos Finance, you need to go to this website. You need to go ahead and fill out this information, and you'll see that they're asking you for your IBM customer number or the site number. And further down, they're asking you what version of Cognos Finance you're running. So again, was not the most self-evident thing in the world, but this is where I would go first. And I would go find out from them what it would cost to get current on support with them so that you're not exposed. The second options had to do with acquiring new products within the Cognos family. And so I wanted to first express the difference between Express and Enterprise. So we have the Express offering, which is really designed for smaller deployments, the mid-market clients. There is some limitations on how many users you can have. There's some limitations on that it has to be on one box. And so it's a great option because the software functionality is at like 98% of the functionality of the enterprise license. Now, if you buy Express and at a later date you need to grow and you exceed the size limitations, then you would be required to trade up to the Cognos Enterprise. So there would be a cost involved in this. But on the average, the Express offering is about 1/3 the cost of the Enterprise. So huge savings. The restrictions on, for example, TM1 is you can't have more than 50 planning users in the system and a total of 100 in the system. So again, if you're one of those smaller clients that had a handful, and you might be one of those clients that had Cognos Finance and planning, and this might be a good option for you. Now, the enterprise obviously is the basically the same software, slightly different, but is for as many users as you need, higher price point. Now, on this screen, you see also Cognos Insight. Cognos Insight is a lightweight version of TM1 and BI all in one. And that's a desktop software. It comes with both Cognos Express and Cognos Enterprise. But if you want to try TM1, this is a great way because you can actually get a free version to play with. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So let's talk about just a high-level summary of Controller. And the intent of this webinar is not to go through all the details of Controllers, but to just explore your options. So the first one, it does our financial consolidation and close process. It has a data collection component. It allows for audit trails of details. It allows us to validate throughout the process, so we're not like, oh, where did it go wrong, but catch checkpoints. It allows us to do all the allocations and the intercompany eliminations that many of our companies need to do. It has advanced formula calculations, currency conversions, and it has great, really tight integration with TM1 on the later versions. So TM1 can be used as a tool to flow that through and then go get the planning data as well. It also has integration with Cognos Disclosure Management, often referred to as CDM, which is a component that really helps you on narrative reporting. So let's say you have to put together a whole packet that has all these pretty slides in it, and it says, you know, due to the increase, and then every month you have to go change that narrative, whether the numbers went up or down. This streamlines that process. It helps with your 10Ks, your XBRL reporting, and so forth. So that also integrates with Controller. So there is a restriction on Controller Express version, and here's the restrictions on that, is that you have to have one connector, one administrator, and you cannot go more than 25 users. If you do, if you add more users and you need to go over 25, then you would need to trade up to the Controller standard version. There would be a cost for that, obviously. So the other option we talked about was TM1, called Performance Management. I'm going to still refer to it as TM1, but this is our planning, analysis, forecasting, and scorecarding tool. Basically, anything you can do in Excel, you can pretty much do in TM1, and that's why some of our clients have migrated. Now, if you happen to be one of those clients that also uses Cognos Planning, well, they're really adding more wizards into TM1 in the later versions. So they have this thing called Performance Modeler that creates our links, as you would know them in planning, to help us build the models. So they're really doing a great job of augmenting the software and making it more user-friendly for those of us that come from the planning world. It does have some great new functionality. Of course, it can do your budget and your forecast, but you can use it for financial reporting as well. It is a 64-bit in-memory OLAP engine. What does that really mean for you? Super fast queries. So it can handle really big cubes. If you've had planning, for example, and you had to break things down because you couldn't open your cubes fully because they were too big, that doesn't happen in TM1 because we can handle much larger data sets because of the technology. And we have the ability to drill through to the details as well. So Great functionality there. I love the unlimited personal scenario. So this allows us to, on the fly, create a what if scenario. And the end users can do this if you give them that capability as well. So it doesn't have to kind of make your model size explode. It handles the multidimensional analysis, has out-of-the-box sorting and ranking, allows for public and private views, and it really integrates with Excel very, very well. Remember, this integrates with Controller. In fact, when you buy Controller, there's a lightweight version of TM1 included in that as well. It's not the full software. You would need the licensing for that. Obviously, all these pieces fit very nicely together in the Cognos 10 platform. Now, if you are someone that is a planning client looking to move to TM1, keep an eye out. We're coming out with a bunch of videos geared towards you to tell you what to expect, how to, design considerations, all of that. Included in TM1 now is also scorecarding. So this could be really great for those of you that are doing financial reporting and also want to have metrics on that. Previously, most of the scorecarding was done on the BI side. In the last year and a half, IBM added scorecarding to TM1. It's included in the licensing. So here's kind of a brief visual of what this could look like for you. Now, Cognos Insight is included in TM1 as well as some of the BI licenses, and it's a desktop solution. This is a great way for you to try TM1 and kind of BI. It's a lightweight version. Desktop solution. I can literally take a CSV file, drag it on to my workspace, drop it in, and it will form a TM1 cube like that. Very powerful. Then I can slice and dice and start to play with it. Now again, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles because it is a lightweight version, but it helps you get an idea what TM1 is all about and gives you a flavor for what some visualizations could be as well. I really recommend that people go and get a copy of this. You can go to the analyticszone.com or simply send us an email, and we will hook you up with the Cognos Insight software and let you play with it. We do have a workshop that we can send you the files and the material, and you can walk through it at your self-paced so that you can play with this and actually have some scenarios to run. So things to consider. How do you use Cognos Finance today? So I would sit down, note, okay, we do intercompany eliminations, we do currency conversions, keep a little list of that. You want to know how you're using it. Then consider how you're doing budgeting forecasting, because what we want to do is find the best solution. Some of you, it may be the right solution to just go to Unicom and get support. Some of you may go without support. Now, I want to tell you about the licenses, and I should have said this earlier, but when you purchase any of the IBM software products, you own that right, unless it's software as a service, but any of the on-prems, which is most of you that are listening, you have the legal rights to use that software even though you're not paying support. You just won't be able to get help or patch fixes or anything like that if you're not current on support. At Lodestar, we always encourage people to be current on support, but at the same time, if you're going to be making that transition from Cognos Finance to Controller or from Finance to TM1, you might decide that you don't want to pay support and you're willing to risk it. That's completely up to you, and we can have that conversation with you, but you need to assess that risk. You need to look at what are your current and future reporting needs. For example, do you need narrative reporting? Maybe you're manually doing that, spending hours and hours putting that together now, and maybe you need a better tool for that. So start to roadmap that. We would be happy to have a conversation with you to explore your options, give you some pros and cons, and let you make that decision. So the call to action, find out what support will cost for you with Unicom. So get a hold of those guys, contact them, tell them you're a Cognos Finance user. For some reason, it appears to me that maybe they didn't get a list of who you are, because at least the couple clients that I've talked to very recently never knew or were never contacted by Unicom. So check that out. Contact us at Lodestar Solutions to explore your options. So you can email us at sales@Lodestar Solutions and schedule a Cognos Insight workshop. This is where we send you the materials. You get to start to play with TM1 and get a little feel for what it's about. If you're not familiar with Lodestar, please check us out. We are coaches. We coach people in business analytics. So we coach them the questions to ask. This is a software agnostic coaching on how to be better at leveraging data and analytics. We have all sorts of webinars and workshops on these topics. We are also Cognos consultants. We do Cognos Finance. We do Cognos Planning, TM1, SPSS, Cognos BI. So the full suite of business analytics from IBM. And we also have a lot of sessions that you might want to check out, like how to do better requirements gathering. We have a program called the Psychology of Requirements Gathering. And of course, we do Cognos training, where we can sign you up for a public or online class. And we also do license reviews. And we really work to make sure you have the right licensing mix at the best price possible. So check out our offerings on our website. And to do that, you'll want to go to lodestarsolutions.com. And you'll see an area that says join our community. And right now, currently it's on the lower right-hand corner. And you want to go there, put your name and email address. We are complying to the Canadian anti-spam laws now. So if you want, even though you've gotten our messages in the past, you need to actively go there and sign up. You will then get an email from us that says, hey, thank you for joining. Click this link and you'll be in our database. It as a two-step process as defined by Canadian law. So please go out and do that. We'll send you updates on this as we hear more. If you learned something after you talk to Unicom, please share your comments on this webinar so that we can all be updated on the latest and greatest news regarding Cognos Finance. So here's my contact information. I am Heather Cole. I am the president of Lodestar Solutions and Heatherized, which is a new website. I'd love for you to check it out. Heatherized.com is all about empowering people with data and analytics with soft skills. So hopefully we'll see you on other future webinars. Feel free to contact me if you'd like to talk specifically about your Cognos Finance environment. And everyone have a fabulous day.